the Prince and Princess of Wales could soon be upscaling in their Windsor living arrangements, moving from a cottage on the castle grounds to the castle itself, according to a new biography. British royal correspondent Katie Nicholl has written in her upcoming book, The New Royals, Queen Elizabeth's Legacy and the Future of the Crown, that William and Kate's next big move will be into the Windsor Castle home of his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who died at the age of 96 on September 8. Reportedly, the royal couple and their 3 children, Prince George, 9, Princess Charlotte, 7, and Prince Louis, 4, recently moved into Adelaide Cottage, a small home in the shadow of the castle. Though the move has not been confirmed by the Wales's office, they have been regularly spotted on the estate since their children started at the nearby Lambrook School. In an excerpt from The New Royals, published by Vanity Fair, Nicholl writes that William and Kate have prioritized creating a normal home atmosphere for raising their children. William and Kate, who has an in-depth knowledge of childhood through her early years work, have insisted on creating as normal an environment as they can, Nicholl said. She continued, they recently downsized, moving from Kensington Palace into the much smaller and more discreet Adelaide Cottage in Windsor Home Park and moving their 3 children into the private Lambrook School in Berkshire this month. Their next move, I am told, will be into Windsor Castle. Speculation over the relocation of the family from their London base of Kensington Palace to the Windsor area circulated earlier this year, as Louis approached his 4th birthday and transition from preschool to prep school. The move seemed to be confirmed in August, when the palace announced that the 3 children would start at Lambrook, which costs $23,000 a year, in September. On September 7, George, Charlotte and Louis were accompanied by their parents to a settling-in afternoon at Lambrook, where the family was officially photographed meeting head teacher Jonathan Berry. News that the family was moving to a new property was not met without some criticism, given that they already have the permanent use of 2 other places, Kensington Palace and Anmer Hall in Norfolk. Britain is experiencing a cost of living crisis, with rising energy bills and inflation hitting a 40-year high of 10.1% in July. Graham Smith, CEO of the anti-monarchy group Republic, said of the move, this 4th home is in addition to the multi-story mansion William and Kate have in Kensington Palace, the 10-bedroom home in Sandringham and the large house they use when in Scotland. While the country faces a never-growing cost of living crisis, it is shocking to see William and Kate acquire a 4th home, at great expense to the taxpayer, Smith said. Newsweek contacted Kensington Palace for comment. Who lives at Windsor Castle? Windsor Castle is the principal royal residence and as such provides accommodation for the monarch as well as a large household staff. During the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, she and Prince Philip occupied the principal private residence at the castle, which has a wing of rooms along the east front. Along with drawing rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, studies and libraries for the monarch's personal use, the castle contains large guest suites that have been occupied regularly at times by visiting members of foreign royal families as well as world leaders. A large part of the castle, including the staterooms used for official functions by the monarch, is open to the public throughout the year, with artifacts and artworks from the royal collection on display. With the death of the Queen, control of the royal residences goes to King Charles III. Though it is likely the King will reserve the primary residence wing formerly occupied by his mother for his own use, he could allocate one of the guest apartments for the use of his eldest son and his family. Where is Adelaide Cottage? Adelaide Cottage was built in 1831 as a folly for Queen Adelaide, 1792–1849, the consort of King William IV. It initially consisted of just 2 rooms designed in a picturesque style by Sir James Wyatville, and over successive reigns it has been enlarged and modernized into a sizable family residence. The cottage is located at the base of the northern slopes of Windsor Castle and is a brief walk from the wing lived in by the monarch. During Queen Victoria's reign, she would often take walks to the cottage with her prime ministers and even considered housing a royal pet monkey there. In the 1940s and 50s, the home was lived in by Group Captain Peter Townsend, a love interest of Princess Margaret's. Townsend wrote of the cottage, "The site, a stone's throw from the Thames, was one of the dampest in England. The house possessed 2 radiators, they and the meagre coal ration were insufficient to warm it. In the drawing room, surrounded by French windows, it was sometimes necessary to wrap up in an overcoat and scarf. The house was a nice box in winter, in summer it was delightful," Townsend said. Until the Cambridge's reported move, the home was most recently lived in by a cousin of the Queen's, through her mother's Bosley own family.